What would those hardy pioneers of 1859 have thought of the Geelong Football Club of 2009? Could they have imagined the heritage they would bestow on future generations? The honour and pride that would engulf a city? Just decades after settlers made their first forays into the bay known as Corio, a football team would emerge. Hardy souls who would wear the hooped blue and white uniforms with knickers and caps, and from their base by the bay, evolve into a powerhouse. There would be early heroes who steered this regional club into association folklore with a string of premierships in the 80s, the 1880s, and then in 1897 into the fledgling Victorian Football League. Names like Burns and Rankin, McCallum and Baker, today lost in the sands of time. How can you compare etchings like this? With high-definition colour and stereophonic sound?
Johnson need to be good to get out of this. Did get out of it.
When Kardinia won the first Brownlow, named after Geelong's secretary, of course, the medal was a curiosity. When Jimmy Bartell triumphed in 2007, the moment was celebrated in sitting rooms around the nation.
The James Bartell is Geelong Football Club.
Geelong has always been special. It has dared to be different. It has evoked special memories, produced superheroes, demanded excellence, and revelled in its triumphs. While suburban grounds were phased out in Melbourne, and newcomers welcomed into the AFL fold around the country, Geelong stood alone. Its quaint home ground expanded, modernised, and continually upgraded to house this mighty team. The walls carry the portraits of those who've stood above all others as club champions. They remind us of the feats of those who have gone before, men of greatness, of skill, and of daring. Names that have brought this city to a standstill, revered in the annals of the game.
Abletts, speaking of enjoying himself from the pocket. That is as good as it gets.
In 2009, Geelong celebrates. It pays tribute to the men and women who have supported the club through the good times and the bad. It honours the greats and allows us to reflect on the history of our team. "150 years ago, Geelong was a town of some 23,000. It was connected by railway lines to Melbourne, and the line to Ballarat was under construction. Football, as we know it, had begun a year earlier, as Melbourne Grammar and Scotch College forged their own rudimentary clash on what is now the car park of the Melbourne Cricket Ground. A set of rules would be drawn up in Melbourne, and as the game evolved in Geelong, a different set of rules would be used. Gradually, a uniform code would come into existence. Advertisements were placed in the local newspaper, and on Saturday, July the 23rd, 1859, a match was held near the Corio Cricket Ground, and according to all, it was a great success. Historian Russell Stevens claims Geelong played 7 games that year and ended with a profit of ½ a crown, or 25 cents. According to historian Roy Hay, players moved freely between clubs. Tom Wills turned out for Melbourne, Richmond and Geelong, and indeed would play anywhere he could get a game, at cricket as well as football. His cousin, HCA Harrison, had a season in Geelong when he was working there, swapping sides during one match to even up the competition. Players were only distinguished by the caps they wore, or even just a ribbon. By the mid-60s, Geelong was one of the most successful clubs, superior to any in Melbourne, and the strongest of the growing band of local teams. In 1877, Geelong and local rival Barwon would become inaugural members of the Victorian Football Association. The next year, the Pivot would go through the season undefeated in its spiffy blue and white hooped uniform. The 1880s would be a golden era for Geelong. When Phil McShane kicked 51 goals in 1886, the club was on its way to a fourth premiership in 5 years, garnering huge local support. Geelong won 7 VFA premierships and was one of the great powers when the opportunity came to break away and join 7 other clubs in the new Victorian Football League. It jumped at the chance. In 1897, the first year of the VFL, Geelong overcame a slow start to eventually win through to the round-robin finals, finishing runner-up to Essendon. The messy system of deciding the premier team would be costly to Geelong in those early years, as the side constantly finished at the top of the table, yet came to grief in the convoluted final system. By 1910, Geelong had become a city. The football club had been reorganised, and Dave Higginbotham, captain of the 1886 champions, would become the first of 30 men to coach the club in the century to come.
You watch him look for the lead for Wade here. He's getting it and he's going for it too, and look at it! Beautiful!
The burly frame of Doug Wade dominated the Kardinia Park goal square throughout the 60s. The pudgy teenager had been spotted by coach Bob Davis.
Well, I was quite happy to play at Melbourne. It was just that Bob Davis came up in those times and won my mother and father over. And, you know, when you're young, Dad says, I think, son, you should go to Geelong. I said, OK, let's go.
In his 208-game career with the Cats, one game stands above all others for this record-breaking spearhead. When Footscray travelled to Geelong on August the 2nd, 1969, few had any idea of the performance they would witness. Wade had kicked 89 goals for the season, but he was in rare form.
And a beautiful goal by Doug. He can kick them from anywhere, can't he? Streaks away, down, big long kick looking for Wade. Wade beautifully judged Mark. He drew Bartlett under the ball then, Wade, and then just stood his ground, stepped back a pace and took a beautiful mark. And this is Wade, he's directly in front, about 30 or 40 yards out from goal. Big punt kick in towards goal. There's no mistake about this one.
Going upfield now. We'll have to get a good kick in. It's a long one. It could be Wade's. Yes! Yes! Wade's mark going for 100 goals. 25 yards out. Look at this. He'll develop it out there down the distance.
26 minutes into the last quarter, he'd kicked 10 and was poised on 99.
The spectators, Wade comes in and kicks.
I think I had one up till half time, and then I kicked 6 in the third quarter, and then I kicked 4 in the last quarter, and then I went off, straight off, after I kicked that goal.
It was good?
Yeah, it was fantastic, yeah.
In 1969, Wade would set a new club goal-kicking mark, ending the year with 127 goals. In a glorious career with the Cats, he would kick 834 goals and top the club goal-kicking a record 11 times.
He goes for a big kick down towards Wade, and Wade hasn't let him down.
A beautiful mark by Wade. Wade has the ball now about 40 yards out from goal, having his third solid goal, and he's got his third goal. My word, he's on target.
Gets it over to Billy Ryan. Billy Ryan puts it right up towards the teeth of goal. Has a chance for Wadey. 5. He's got it through for his 5th.
Centre half forward, taken by Newman. He very cleverly skips around. He drives forward. Look, this has got Wade's name on it. Wade runs into an open goal. He's put it through. Sharrock puts his boot in. It's a long one. It's in the goal square. There's Wade once again. Couldn't mark it. He's got it. He kicks.
Things looking a little Geelong's way as the ball's tapped forward, up towards Wade at full forward again. Wade in front on this occasion. 2 Hawthorn plays, but Wade pulls it down. That's it. That's the end of this game. Great game of football.
How's that eye?
Geelong, 3 points in front. They're now 9 points in front with 30 minutes gone in the final quarter.
Wade's aggregate record would tumble eventually some 20 years later, and it took a super player to do it.
Looking kick. The end result might be okay. It's slung off the ball. Snapshot. He's got his 4th.
Here's Riccardi. Pickering going past. A snap by Pickering in the goal square. Oh, it clears Brownless and Ablett. Here's Gazza, the great man. Left foot snap. Jimmy! What a goal by Desert!
The madness of genius. So Ablett for the century. He's got it. It's all over. And I think he's glad about it.
When Gary Ablett Sr. retired in 1996, he had kicked the ton on 3 occasions, set a new mark of 129 goals in 1994 and ended with a career tally of 1,021 goals.
Gafer tried the punch. Oh, Ablett, could he make it 2 in the first few minutes? Snapshot is off target, or is it a goal? It's there. He's got it.
And off the left foot. Well, this shot will put Geelong in front if he kicks accurately. And 13 goals to Ablett. Geelong lead.
I remember one of the first games, you know, after being sent home, and it really did. I started to sort of feel the presence of Gary Ablett, and I was playing on a halfback flank, and he was playing full forward, and I've actually gone to protect the full back. I think it was Michael Crutchfield back then. I'm not sure, but he's just come out, and I've had to shepherd him. I'm only like an 18-year-old, and he was a fully grown man, and I've actually gone in to bump him, and he's just bowled me over. And ended up tackling, you know, the full back and turning the ball over and free kick and kicking the goal. And for the next week, I had this huge lump where he hit me, and I mean, I was walking around thinking, this is all right. I've got this massive bicep, but it was just aching. And it kept showing the girls and all that sort of thing at work and that, and it was just, I was there for a week, and that was really the presence and the way he just generated so much speed and bone.
He had topped the goal kicking at Geelong 9 times, and like Wade, won 3 Coleman medals.
Coleman, Ablett on the left foot, it's bouncing, it's close, he's done it!
Wade and Ablett, goal kickers of the highest calibre. Both would win just 1 best and fairest, despite their prodigious scoring records, well short of the man who holds the record. Over his 15-year career, Gary Hocking would be one of the most decorated players at the club. 4 times All-Australian, 4 times a place-getter in the Brownlow, and 4 times best and fairest. A feat matched by no other cat.
The great thing about Buddha, you know, is that he's a very skillful player, but hard. Normally you get one or the other. He was both, which is unbelievable.
Across towards Jamison. It spills back to Hocking. Shrugs a tackle. 30 metres out. Great snap.
He's got determination beyond anyone that I've ever known, you know, just to be the best. And Buddha won't accept anything less than the best, and that can be footy, can be golf, it can be his tennis, or whatever it is that he does. He needs to be the best, and he wants to be the best, and he'll do everything he can to put himself in the position to achieve those sorts of things.
Short on full forward. Huge pack. Gary Hocking front. Left foot snap, a beauty!
Rockets the ball back to Jose. Ooh. Bang! Crash to the ground that time by Hocking.
His approach for the majority of the career was just number 1 as far as his approach to football. The most, I suppose, astute professional as far as football goes. Preparation, attitude and discipline, the whole lot as far as his career went, was just next to the best.
Gary Hocking waits underneath and shows enormous courage.
He had support from Merriman.
Oh, that's a great mark, Gary Hocking.
You just knew he was going to get it, or if he didn't get it, there'd be a big scrap on, so you could back him. And the great thing is, if you knew he was around it and he was going to get it, you'd probably get it because his skills are so good. So it's just incredible to run out alongside, and you know, him and certainly Gary Ablett. Just to run out with both them, you knew you were going to be travelling okay.
He just took the mark, 1 step onto the left foot, and just class play.
Hard work in there from Gary Hocking.
Well, he's the heart and soul of his team. He sets a tremendous example for his players.
Hocking read it beautifully, and then goes for goal, and might have kicked a beauty, has Buddha.
Just watch Gary Hocking. He's just an absolute genius.
Becomes the last member today, and no one deserves it more. He's been an ornament to the game, tough and hard at it. That's the only way he knows how to play the game.
When he retired, the faithful got a chance to get up close and personal, as he did his lap of honour. At the time, only 2 men had played in more games for the club, both of them local lads. John Newman came from the grammar school with big raps.
Are you a little bit disappointed in missing out on the 2 star recruits of the year, Brummel and Woods?
Well, we tried very hard to get them, Lou, but I feel that we've got one boy here in particular will, won't worry about Woods or Brummel at all.
What's his name?
A boy called Newman, John Newman.
Didn't he play with your seconds last year?
Yes, played in the reserves last year, only 4 games, and he used to go to the grammar school, but he's here in Geelong, and I do feel that Newman will be a really top-class ruckman in the league. He's showing so in the practice games at the moment.
I was down here at training one night and a fella came in and said, if I was you, I'd go out and look at a boy at the grammar school. And I said, where? He said, Geelong Grammar. And in those days, perhaps Geelong Grammar, I mean, it is probably the finest school in Australia, but for preparing footballers, it didn't have the greatest reputation. And I said, Geelong Grammar. He said, there's a boy called Newman out there. He just kicked 16 goals from centre forward. Pooh, I couldn't get out quick enough.
Well, I came to the club in 1963 after a great recruiting coup by Bob Davis and Leo O'Brien, who were 2 great personalities of the club in those days. They came out to Geelong Grammar, and I think they watched me play in a school game against another Melbourne side then. I think I kicked 15 goals from centre half forward, and they thought I could have been okay. And their recruiting tag and the price that they had to pay for me was to give me a second-hand jumper of Polly Farmer's, which I'd always wanted, and that was how I came to Geelong. That was the signing-on fee for me.
Apprentice to the legend Polly Farmer, he would develop into a ruck giant, and in 1980 bowed out after becoming the first Geelong player to reach 300 games.
I was coming to the end of my effectiveness with the club, and I struggled with a bit of form, and Bill Goggin, I suppose kindly, if you like, gave me a chance to play 300 games. I started on the bench, which was for team balance, as they say, and came on, I think, about 10 minutes into the first quarter, played on Renee Kink, and played a reasonable game, and played 3 more games after that, and at the end of the 1980 season, I retired.
Long-time teammate Ian Nankervis would overtake him, and the 3-time best and fairest would accumulate 325 games. Captained the club over 5 seasons and remained to this day the games record holder.
His teammate there in Ian Nankervis. He'll run around Keith Gregg. He'll line up the goals. No. Still touches the ball on the ground. Still running around. Has a shot at the goals. A beautiful goal. What a great goal by Ian Nankervis. A captain's goal and a real team lifter.
I'd had a really ordinary night. I played on Danny Southern, and he actually said, if you go near the ball and touch it tonight, I'm going to belt you. And I thought he was fair dinkum, so I didn't touch it. And you wouldn't believe it, Richard Osborne kicked a goal and put Footscray a point up, and I reckon there was under a minute to go.
Set sail in towards full forward. Brown flies, Osborne's left loose, and he goes! They all went up for Geelong. Has kicked his second for the quarter and possibly the winning goal.
And David Minch actually kicked it to me, which is quite interesting because we used to cop a bit of it, fair to say, me and Minchy. And I led out with my great pace, took a pack mark against 3 or 4 Footscray players, very good mark, and I was 55 metres out.
If the Cats are down, if he kicks a point, it'll be another tie. Oh, don't tell me. Oh! The siren's going to sound. Oh! How'd you like that for pressure? Well, his coach Malcolm Blight knows all about that. This is your moment, Billy.
And went back, and I still remember the siren's gone. We're a point down. I've got to kick the goal to win it. And Tony Liberatore, the little turd, is standing there saying things about my mother that I never knew my mother could do, actually. But so I put it, and this is what you're trained to do. You do this. So I went back, and as I said, I was 60 metres out and had to kick the goal.
Well, he's had a rock and rolling season, down and out, and back he comes. Can he finish it off with a goal? Billy, you are king of Geelong. The monkey's off the back, Billy.
Best feeling in the world, just dropping the ball right, looking up, and the ball's going straight through the big sticks, and we'd won. And then I don't know why, but I actually ran about 50 metres. I never ran 50 metres on the MCG, and Blighty and John Barnes was the first one to catch me. if you know where Barnsley's lips have been, you don't want to be kissed on the lips by Barnsley, which he did. So that was interesting. And then Blighty's trying to climb over and touch me and things like that. So, it was a great moment. Fantastic moment.
Look at them. Look at those Geelong players. Look at Blighty out there. It's the highest look he's made in 2 years.
I've never seen a coach react like that, have you?
Well, they were facing adversity at half-time. They'd lost place. This is one of the great victories at Geelong. And Billy Brownlow, hasn't he turned it round? He was the villain in 1992 when the West Coast thrashed them in the grand final. He's turned around and won it off his own boot. Almost grand final-like scenes here.
The monkeys off the back, Gerard Healy, I think it was the monkeys off the back, and then Sandy saying, "Billy, you are king of Geelong," which obviously I didn't hear till a few days later when I replayed it a few times. So yeah, it was a great call, and you know, I still love it, and I still talk to Sandy about it, but it was a great call, it was, yeah.
He goes right in towards goal. Wade from behind his left. Oh, look at
Steadies goes for the drop kick. It's not a good one. It's off the side of the boot. It's a battle between Wade. Oh, what a ripper.
into Francis Burke's hands. His pass out the wide. Oh, flying over the top. Farm and mark.
Torpedo punt kick, plenty of distance into the goal square.
Puts a high kick up, hoping for a mark from either Cloak there or Jeffries over the top of the back. And great mark by Jeffries.
Shot for goal. At the back is Terry Bryant. Look at him play. He's got the mark.
From the back pocket to centre wing. Oh, Billy! We've waited all day for you.
The Cats dominating the centre square. Russell underneath it. Oh, Busey.
The half-forward line. Ablett at the back. Big mark.
Up from the back pocket. Long kick out wide. The Bears have got the numbers, but Fletcher goes over the top.
Kellis goes long towards goal. And a great mark. The acrobatic Bruce Lindner.
Delivers a good kick to full forward. Lindner with a climb. He was up there forever.
Goes long in towards full forward. Lindner!
What a grab. Oh, Billy lets fly with one. Deep into full forward. What a mark by Lindner. Plays on to Axel. Sensational football.
Won't make it. Abletts.
Lane's kick towards half forward. Oh, Darcy up high, a beautiful mark.
Hocking drives a goal, they need this. Oh, Ablett's taken a miraculous mark in front of Silvani. And at last, Ablett has broken the shackles.
There's a great kick from Hocking, though. He probably knew he wasn't going to make the distance.
Geelong are off and running. McGrath can keep going. Will he? Yes, three. Will he go again? No, he won't. He'll bring it into the pocket. Ablett will fly. Gary Ablett. Oh, what a ripper. Oh, there were two Richmond players there, Terry.
Alongside the centre circle, kicks it a mile. Going back is Lewis. Coming over the top is Bizzle.
Magnificent mark by a young player. And he certainly never for 1 second took his eye off the ball.
Shoots around the other side.
Oh, what a mark. Gary Hocking from behind.
Goes into the square. Lovely kick by Mitch. Oh, what a mark! No!
He's played it!
Well, I don't know whether he should have played it. I'd have to have another look at this.
He's hurt himself too.
But the leap was sensational.
Milbourne hoping for Corey Harley. Oh, Chapman! Paul Chapman!
He set himself. You could see he wanted to go for it.
That kick gives McLean a problem. Selwood takes a magnificent mark. He is fearless.
Gets it out to Burns. Wobbles it inside 50 to big Tom Hawkins over the top.
It would take Geelong until the 1925 season to add VFL silverware to a cabinet brimming with the spoils of the 1880s. A record 64,000 witnessed Geelong's 10-point win over Collingwood. Under captain coach Cliff Rankin, Geelong had led at every change, and despite being held goalless in the final term, held off the fast-finishing Magpies. Rankin finished with 5. In the system of the day, Geelong defeated Collingwood in the 1930 final by 26 points. But as the top team, the Magpies had the right to challenge. They did, and won a 4th straight flag by 30 points. A year later, under the new Page Final Four system, Geelong finished on top, and with stars like Karji Greaves, Jocka Todd and the young Reg Hickey, defeated Richmond by 40 points for the flag. In 1937, Geelong would again top the ladder, defeat Melbourne in a high-scoring second semi-final, and then in front of a record 88,000, played a classic grand final against Collingwood. Under captain coach Hickey, Geelong kicked 6 final quarter goals to 1 to secure a 32-point win and flag number 3. Jack Evans kicked 6 goals and Les Hardiman shut down the Pies superstar Ron Todd. In the post-war years, no team managed to string together a run of success to match the mighty Geelong sides of Reg Hickey. The great champion had returned to Geelong in 1949 and put together a side that is still talked of with awe. These home movies show the iron-willed Hickey in a jovial mood as he hammed it up for the newfangled movie camera. Among the plethora of young stars who would make their way to Kardinia Park was a boy from Clunes, destined to be one of the club's most famous sons.
Well, to me, Reg Hickey is undoubtedly the biggest name and the best name that the Geelong Football Club has ever had, without doubt. I lived in Hern Street, he lived in Strawn Avenue up in Hern Hill, and it was about a 5-minute walk, and I suppose that I spent 2 or 3 nights a week around at Reg Hickey's house, drinking cocoa and having toast with him and talking about football and everything connected with the football from the time he came, which was in about 1926.
In 1951, Geelong would end the season on top of the ladder, and under first-year skipper Fred Flanagan would meet the reigning premiers Essendon on grand final day. This was a Geelong side that included rookies of the calibre of McMaster and Pianto, superstar key forwards in George Ganninan and skipper Flanagan, the Brownlow medalist Bernie Smith.
Bernie Smith, great player. He was outstanding, he could read the game very well, but we found out what his main, not his main attribute, but one of his attributes was that he could run backwards just as fast as he could run forwards. You used to see him running out of a pack backwards, and that was the reason.
Essendon was without its superstar full forward John Coleman, sensationally suspended, and in his absence, fullback Bruce Morrison was best of field.
Coleman used to beat us on his own, and he did all through the 51. There was no doubt that if he'd have played, I think that we would have been premiers in 52, but we wouldn't have been premiers in 51.
George Ganninan kicked 4, the Cats by 11 points. In those days, there was no Silver Cup, but in 1951, a special presentation was made, even if it was in a most low-key manner.
Ken Luke came in to congratulate us, of course, and several of other of his committee, and with it he had this trophy, and that's where it was presented after the game, as far as I can remember.
As they had done 14 years earlier, the Geelong faithful met at Kardinia Park to celebrate a mighty win by burying a toy bomber. A year later, they would be out to bury Lou Richards' Magpies. The Cats had dominated the 1952 season, and on grand final day, Flanagan would toss the coin with the cheeky Magpie Rover.
Someone tossed a coin out and up it went, and I don't know who won the toss, but anyhow we started walking back to the centre. We're about halfway back, I suppose, and Lou stops, turns around to me and he said, "Now you big bastard." He said, "You come near me for the rest of the match." He said, "I will drop and kick your head over the grandstand." And I looked at him and I said, "Lou," I said, "if you're good enough to do that," I said, "you're good enough to win the game."
6 goals up at the last change. Geelong would coast home by 46 points to win back-to-back flags. There would be 26 straight wins before the streak came to an end in round 14, 1953, in the mud against Collingwood at Kardinia Park. Only one man, Russell Hooker Renfrey, would play in every win. On grand final day, without George Ganninan, they would lose to Collingwood by 2 goals.
Well, 53, we had definitely the best side, and there was no doubt that an indiscretion by one of the players, and it really was highlighted and it was wrong. The selectors took it the wrong way and they left him out of the team, and I think it just upset the balance of the team.
Under Hickey, the Cats would continue to be a force in the 50s, topping the ladder in 1954 for the 4th straight season. But they would be sent packing with consecutive finals defeats. In 1955, with Davis at the helm, they would defeat Essendon but fall to Collingwood in the preliminary final. By 1957, they would have lost the magic, tumbling to the wooden spoon for the first time since 1944, when they fielded a seriously depleted side.
Well, I had a severe smash at Footscray and I wasn't able to play in the finals, and whether or not that made a great deal of difference, I don't know. But the team was starting to disintegrate, and while it had been a magnificent team, you can't keep going forever, and that's what happens in football clubs.
Davis would bow out at the end of another disastrous year for the Cats, another wooden spoon. But for Davis, a year of personal triumph. He would captain his club, his state, and after the ANFC Carnival in Melbourne, cap a brilliant career by being named All-Australian Captain. The end was nigh for Hickey as well. After 304 games and 17 seasons, after the 1959 season, he would hand the coaching reins over to Bobby Davis.
Well, there were slight murmurs. There was murmurs the year before, actually, and people had come to me and I said, I will never encroach on Reg Hickey's territory. If Reg Hickey decides to retire, then there is a chance that I might like to coach something like that.
Shocking joint. We were in a classrooms. They had the portable classrooms. That's where we got changed and used to run out. And I still remember they'd have rides and kids' rides and the Ferris wheel and things like that going on. And they were a very ordinary side, the Brisbane Bears then, and we had a pretty good side. I reckon Gazza started on the half-back flank or played on the wing. I was at centre-half back. You know, Blighty moved us all around a bit. Paul Brown was up forward. I think he kicked 7 goals. And we just kept kicking goals, you know. We didn't think much about it.
Bairstow to get that handball away to Wills. Wills runs all the way up to the 50-metre line. Goes long with the drop punt kick. It is a great goal for Geelong.
And Stoner marks in between wing and half forward, centering. Bairstow's there, Scott as well. Oh, Bairstow read it off the hands, pings for goal. A beauty. Shrugs the tackle, well played by Bairstow. The lights are on here for the second half. Awkward bounce for Leslie. Ablett takes it away from him. He's kicked 4, has plenty of time for number 5, and there it is.
We actually didn't know that we were anywhere near the highest score ever in VFL, AFL history. And I actually took a mark on the siren, kicked a point, because we didn't need to win this one. So I've kicked a point after the siren, which actually took us over the highest score. And we didn't know that. We just walked back into the portable classrooms and we're just, going to have a shower. And someone's come in and said, hey, you boys have just kicked the world record score. And we didn't even know that. So, yeah, that was something to tell the grandkids about.
There's only seconds left, but all he needs to do is kick it behind and Geelong will hold the record score, and the Bears will have the, well, unenviable record of being the team that the record score was kicked against. Brownless kicks it behind. There's the siren. Geelong today, May the 3rd, 1992, have kicked the all-time VFL, AFL record score, 37-17, 239, and they've defeated Brisbane.
You know, to kick 37 goals in any game of football, let alone the standard that these guys are playing at, was just one of those fluke performances. It happened very, very rarely, and, the Bears were totally undermanned with their injury, and we were pretty slick for 3 out of the 4 quarters, so one of those rare moments in football that happened.
At every football club, there is a number that is revered. At Geelong, for almost half a century, the number 5 has held a place above all others. 2 men, both giants of the Australian game, have worn it with pride. In the early 60s, the biggest question in football was the future of West Australian ruck sensation Graham Polly Farmer. Many had gone to Perth to lure the dual Sandover medalist from East Perth, and all had come back empty-handed. He was 27 when he fell to the recruiting spell of the Cats' young coach, Bob Davis.
We'd have a great team if we had a real ruckman. I said, I know where the best ruckman in the world is, not only Australia, in the world. And I said, he's in Western Australia. They said, can you get him? I said, I'll get him, don't you worry. And over we went. I said to Paul, would you like to come? And he said, yes. So that made it all the more. And I said, would it be much money? Oh, we won't discuss the money factor, but it worked well. And whatever, we had a fella called Frank Moore, who had the dairies here in Geelong. And Frank Moore said, you really want this fella? And I said, yes. And he pulled out the checkbook, put it down there, and wrote, he said, I can't give you the 20. He said, I'll give you £13,000. Not a bad effort from one fella, was it?
Farmer revolutionised the way football was played. He turned handball into an art form, ruck play into a science.
Is the only player in the history of AFL/VFL football that ever changed the game the way he played. Some had the rules changed because of the way they played, but Farmer started that flow-on offensive handball in the early 60s, and Ron Barassi perfected it in 1970.
Rosano now with a nice drop kick, not a great deal of distance in it, and they struggle for the ball but can't get it, and it's hit over the head here by Farmer and scrambled down to the ground, and it looks again as if Farmer's clearing hand pass.
You can pick him up, but the kick coming into centre half forward. Comes to the ground, picked up by Newlands, hand passed here to Farmer. Farmer lines up from 45 yards out, and there's no worries at all. There's a definite hand pass to Dennis Marshall. Marshall puts his boot in it. He's been shaded in the centre by Barrett. Up it goes towards Wade. Can't hold it down to Farmer. Farmer kicks at the big ones. He's put it through. Here's a chance for Newlands. Gets it across here to Sharrock. Sharrock drives up towards the forward pocket on the outer side, and the big fellow there, Farmer, takes the mark.
In 1963, he would finish runner-up to Bobby Skilton in the Brownlow Medal, guide the Cats to that famous premiership, and win the best and fairest. By 1965, he was captain, and in 1967, led the Cats into the grand final against Richmond.
He is about 45 yards out on that angle, kicking from the outer end of the scoreboard goal. It looks pretty good. He's put it through. Graham Farmer, that's his second.
A neck-and-neck struggle here. At umpire Steve bounces the ball. Up goes Farmer and Nichols. They both nullified one another, but Farmer has got the free kick.
Good Lord. Chance there for a mark, but no mark. And who could tell it was who's in that forward pocket? It's down to Marshall. Marshall trying to get that ball. He puts it over to Farmer. Through into centre half back. It's all Geelong at the moment. Farmer on his own completely. He passes a long one out to Pollinell. Nichols. Farmer. Nichols this time doesn't get it clear. Farmer follows it up. It's over towards Collis, but it's Farmer again with it. Oh, scoops it out to Goggin. There he goes now, and it's a nice pass to Farmer. It's centre half back. Farmer steps around. He's going for the long pass out here towards the half forward flank, and Eels marks.
In this third quarter, Mike, with those 3 goals they've slammed on, it's good football.
Up they go. Farmer gets a tap down. Oh, goes to Goggin. Beautiful.
Freddie Swift going up the middle. Oh, glorious kick. Farmer from behind. He's got it.
It's on Geelong's half-forward flank on that outer side. They're kicking down to the Richmond end. Farmer taps it down. Roy West now to kick out from the newsstand end. Puts his boot in it. Goes to the outer flank there. Players racing, but Farmer's there and takes the mark.
Has the kick right into the centre. Michael Perry on Farmer. Farmer gets it. Hand passes to Mitchell. Mitchell gets a left footer and Eels mark.
He's favouring the outer flank by the look of it. Oh, good kick too. The players set themselves. Up they go. No mark. Taken by Farmer. Farmer a long hand pass out here. He's looking for Pollinelli.
Farmer played only 101 games, and it's interesting to note that he was a centimetre or more shorter than current-day players of the ilk of Mooney, Bartell and Scarlett. Yet he was and remains the great ruckman in league history. In 1984, the club bestowed this prize number on a bloke who'd been decreed too hard to handle during his 6-game stint at Hawthorn. After a year out of football, Gary Ablett blazed across the football firmament, a star that dazzled. In his first year, he was best and fairest, and an All-Australian. But that was only a taste of the honours that would befall him in the 200-plus games ahead.
One of the probably major things that Malcolm's
encouraged me to do, and not just me but all the players, and I believe it's helped our performance overall, is to keep our feet. That too often we go to ground when we don't really need to, and once you're on the ground you're out of the contest. And I felt that just in being very selective in the marks that I've gone for this year, and concentrating more on keeping my balance and keeping my feet, means I'm still in the contest.
Fast forward to 1993, he would move to full forward and produce one of the most spectacular seasons in AFL history.
Huge pack of players. Ablett, does he come down with that mark? It is an amazing grab. A hurried hand pass. Ablett, can he go off the ground? He might have got that. I think he has. Yes, sir. He's able to drag it down. Ablett comes out with a football. He can kick these. Snapshot. Oh, that's a goal. It's a miracle. Hills, the Herd, Ablett. Snap. Number 10.
The ball bounced over my Essendon opponent's head to me in the pocket, and I was running the wrong. I should have kicked it on my left boot, but I knew I was pretty hot from behind. I was about to get tackled, so I'd done a banana the wrong way, and it went through the centre. And I thought, oh wow, it was try and do that again. I thought.
Short pass from him. Ablett on a lead. Badly injured ankle. Came back on. Has come back on. Scott. Long kick. Ablett. Good use of the body. Great mark.
And off the left foot. Oh! Well, this shot will put Geelong in front if he kicks accurately. And 13 goals to Ablett. Geelong lead.
O'Reilly's kick. Into the pocket. Back there is Mansfield and Worsfold. Got by Ablett. Hard at the footy. Brownless.
Ablett. 11 times Ablett represented Victoria, 7 times an All-Australian. He would captain his club, his state and the All-Australian team, win a Norm Smith medal and 3 Coleman medals, and over an illustrious career, kick 1,000 goals.
Hawthorn looking for a tackle. Ablett from centre wing. Goes from 70 metres and kicks another one.
Scholl runs inside the 50. They could do with a goal. Hasn't got the carry. One man left standing. Ablett slapped away by Champion. Or did he kick it? Ablett may have kicked it.
He has. Won't be too happy with that. Geelong can make something of this. Ablett in front and a mark.
Stoneham's kick into the forward pocket. Ablett.
Oh! What a mark.
Standing passage of play by Geelong. Brewer in the Ablett direction. Ingerson in. Primke with the Coleman. Ablett on the left foot. It's bouncing. It's close. He's done it.
As Burke leaves the ground. Ablett couldn't take the mark. Oh, he's a light, Gary Ablett. Look at this. Here is the magician at work. He shoots towards goal. What more can you say?
Ablett and Farmer. One choice in an imaginary national draft. Who would you pick?
I would have G Farmer. I would have G Farmer, no doubt. I mean, I know that Gary can win the games, but Polly used to do it without, he just used to run out in the ground and you knew you were going to control the game. It was fantastic. And for me, I don't think I've ever had, well, I've had a lot of friends, but Polly, finding him and having him as a mate forever is fantastic.
I didn't play with Gary Ablett Senior, but I did play with Graham Farmer, and to me he was the epitome of what this game's about. Not only was he great physically, of course, mentally he had the game right under control, and spiritually, I know this will sound silly, but if he wasn't playing well, made sure the person he was playing on didn't play well into the bargain. And I think that's what every coach requires players to do. Not be good every now and again, but be effective even when you're not going that well. And I learnt everything I knew about this game from Farmer, not because he told me, just by watching him. Now, Gary Ablett was, of course, it's apocryphal that he is just probably the greatest player, or one of the 3 that's ever played the game. I would say Gary Ablett Senior just played on talent and almost talent alone, which is fantastic in itself. And Graham Farmer had that other unique ability to summon mental courage to play sometimes
because he played under extreme adversity. Don't forget he damaged his knee, and I think the opening season he played with the Cats and played 100 games almost exactly with Geelong under pretty severe circumstances when you think about it.
He'll go for the short pass, and he's found his teammate there in Ian Nankervis. He'll run around Keith Gregg. He'll line up the goals. No, still touches the ball on the ground, still running around, has a shot at the goals.
Right on the edge of the line there. Oh, he's got around them beautifully. A snap for goal. That might be through. It's a beautiful goal.
Turner using his pace. He's well shepherded there by Lund. Runs around another tackle. Turner goes goal. What it's across the face maybe. It's a beautiful goal.
Getting it back there to Morgan. Over to Buse. Here he comes, a little rover. Oh, bad luck. He crashed his way through. Now he's got it again. Oh, boy. He hooks it back. Don't tell me he's going to score a goal. That is the goal of the year.
Down, but it goes straight there. It looks like Carter and Peake coming through as Hawkins. Good play by Jack Hawkins. One of Geelong's best. Can line up from about 30 metres out from goal. Look at that for a goal. Magnificent. Beautiful goal, Jack Hawkins. That's one of the goals of the day.
Down it goes to big fella Jackson. He's got it. Jackson quickly plays on. He fumbles. He's got to get clear now. He's clear. He's going to have a bounce. He'll straighten up and fire. It deserves a goal.
And he gives it up. Look at Bamford go. The racehorse is after him too, Martin. Look at Bamford go. He's fresh. Can he kick a goal? The former Brisbane Lions and Fitzroy player. He's kicked the ripper. What a goal.
Towards Peake. Peake can come back and have a snap over his shoulder. He's swinging it back. Oh, beautiful positional shot for goal. Magnificent goal by Peake.
Peake at the back. Punched away by Hanson. Jacko races after it. Snaps towards goal.
What a kick.
Passage of play by Geelong. Brewer in the Ablett direction. Ingerson in. Primke with the Colbert. Ablett on the left foot. It's bouncing. It's close. He's done it. A miracle goal.
Surakoski gets his right hand to it, but it's Brewer who takes it away. Tanner back to Brewer. Brewer just a little unselfishly. Hocking from Hall. Brewer. What's this? That is a magnificent kick by Brewer. As Burke leaves the ground. Ablett! Couldn't take the mark. Oh, he's a light, Gary Ablett. Look at this. Here is the magician at work. He shoots towards goal. What more can you say? Squeezed a little on the left foot. Eventually goes to that end result. Barnes from behind. Flicks over the back. Off the ground. What's he done? He hasn't. He couldn't have. But I think he has.
Hargraves kicks inside the 50, bounces in front of Burns. Burns magnificently. This deserves a goal, and he's got it. What a classic. And there you go.
And it'll be taken by Snell. Barnes. Lowther. Close to out of bounds. Stoneham. He was out, the ball was in. Barnes for goal. It bounces! Would you believe it?
So Ronnie Burns, you would suggest he will step out onto the right, curl it around. He's gone for the left foot banana.
Going pretty well.
Well, if you want some class, there it is. Good on you, Ronnie. In goes Brewer. Good gather in the finish. Ablett, manufacture, Gary Ablett! What a goal! Hall is marked. Play on. Ronnie Burns. Look at this man. Exciting, but lets himself down with a high kick. Lands in the Ablett area. Ronnie Burns again. Magnificent footy, Burns. To go on the right, then hand pass back to Riccardi. In turn, goes to Pickering. Pickering's kick is pretty good. That's a goal, I'd suggest. Great kick by Liam Pickering.
Inboard, awkward kick by Colbert. Half ball, 50-50. Riccardi, brilliant. What a goal this will be. Magic.
Couch. Falls over the back to Brownlow. On the Hocking. Hocking, great desperation. Gee, Hocking, one goal, a miracle.
Kicks in towards the far side. Ablett is there. Cop one round the head. Whistle doesn't go. It comes to Brownlow. He goes, bang, what a kick. Kick in by Longmire. Big pack gathers, comes to Cameron, front of the pack, bounces inside 50, runs away from the defence, will go all the way and kicks the goal.
Morgan kicks the Cats up towards centre-half forward. No mark taken. At the back, Couch is a chance. Somehow he finds his way out of that crunch, and with his right foot, shoots for goal. It's close, it's home.
Steve Johnson kicks smothered by Selwood. Gets the handball out in the Patfull direction. He can't break free of the tackle, and Rook rolls it along the line. That is amazing. Unbelievable goal from Max. Stokes. Abletts, speaking of enjoying himself, from the pocket. That is as good as it gets from the genius.
I'd like to get with a club that is not in the four, and yet it has a chance of getting into the four. I'd like to get with a club that I think I could be of use to, rather than be with a club that's been on top.
The biggest name in football in the early 60s was Polly Farmer, and his arrival at Geelong sent shockwaves through the club.
I went into the rooms after the first practice match that he played here, and it's a very difficult thing because everyone knew he was going to be a very highly priced fellow. He's the first fellow really to get huge money in that. And I went around to nearly all my players and I said, how'd you get on with Polly? Oh, he gave me 6 handballs. Oh, he got this ball out to me. Oh, he's fantastic. He was in. The team had been revitalised. There was a new feeling around the club. Everything worked perfectly.
While undoubtedly brilliant, his knee injury was the biggest story of 1962. And his fight to avoid the surgeon's scalpel daily grist for the newsman. Even without Farmer, the Cats would make the finals for the first time since 1956, only to meet red-hot favourites Essendon in the second semi-final.
The ball is kicked forward by Hamer after the bounce, after the throw-in. Up Miller goes, but he's too early. David Shaw appeals for the mark, so does Fred Wooler. Who's the umpire going to give that one to?
He must give it to Wooler on a 45-degree angle, Geelong's captain. Freddie Wooler shot, and this time he's on target, and this is the badly needed goal that Geelong needed, kicked by their captain, Freddie Wooler.
The 46-point loss would see the Cats play a preliminary final against Carlton, a thriller that would end with the scores level.
A perfect shoulder by Donaldson. The ball is almost in front of the Olympic stand. Alistair Lord's gone down again. Alistair Lord is down again. The ball is just in front of the line. The ball is in front of Miller and also George McGrath. This time it's kicked over the line, and the Brownlow Medallists has run into 2 solid bumps in 1 minute of play. The Cats are scurrying, picked up by Eric Nichols down from the half-back flank. He's on as a replacement. The ball is under the half-forward line, marked by Alistair Lord, their centre player, and he'll take his time, and if he doesn't put his boot right into this and kick it as far as he can, he'll be letting his side down. No short passing here. It's a good long kick in front of the scoreboard pocket. Up Miller goes in front. He's taken another mark. Miller.
A week later, one of the most controversial finishes in football history. Wade marked with the Cats down by 5 points, but umpire Jack Irving claimed Wade had infringed against fullback Peter Barry. Geelong season over.
James from centre-half forward uses a drop kick. It's a beauty too. It's a long kick into the full forward line. Roy West goes up, the siren goes, and it's a tie.
The late Jack Irving was the umpire. He felt that I held the player back with my hands. I might have held him back with my body, which I did. I stopped and then propped and took the mark out in front of Peter Barry. And I thought that we were, 5 points down at that stage, or 4 points down, and pretty close to the end of the game, and I thought I could kick a goal. But it was very disappointing, but that's life, isn't it?
In 1963, 2 teams dominated the competition. The fast, skillful Cats of Bob Davis and the rugged Hawks, nicknamed Kennedy's Commandos. They would meet 4 times. On grand final day, the artistry of Farmer was never better highlighted. Geelong victorious.
At three-quarter time, you can see pieces of the video of me talking to all the players, and I actually said, now we've got them beaten. This quarter, I want you to show what genuine football is. I don't care if you turn somersaults. Just show them exactly how you pass the ball to one another. Just run straight over the top of them.
Geelong look as though they could run away to the easiest of victories, but even if they win by 6 goals, it won't be an easy victory because it's been a hard, rough game.
Here they come again. The ball onto the half-forward line. Wooler's getting the run here. He's been brought back to the half-forward line. Look at him go. A chance for a left-foot goal by Wooler. It's going right down the try to goal. The Cats are on fire. There was a lot of support for the thought that Hawthorn would make it a go for most of the way, but might crumple because of their hard final series in the final quarter. That seems to have worked out. Farmer to Goggin. Goggin was going to give it to Alistair Lord, then decide to pass it upfield. That must be Sharrock. Sharrock gives it back to Goggin. Here's some beautiful football. A lovely hand pass across to Yates. Yates shot passes into the goal square. Wooler will play on. A goal to the Cats and the best piece of footy of the day.
Fred Wooler would accept the cup, and at Geelong, the reception was rapturous.
Well, here's the Western Australian contingent of the Geelong Premiership side. We call them Victorians now. Great games from both of you, John Watts and Graham Farmer. Thank you very much, Rob. What's it like playing in Victoria?
Terrific, yes.
What's it like playing in a Premiership side of the Victorian League?
Well, it hasn't really hit us yet, I don't think, has it, Paul?
No, we'll start to feel the effects later on in the week. We can't believe it at the moment.
Geelong would play 4 finals in the next 3 years, winning only 1. Davis would be replaced by his Premiership teammate Peter Pianto, and in 1967 watched as the Cats took all before them and reached the grand final against Richmond.
The halfback flank on the member stand side takes his kick up towards centre half forward. They all fly from over down the mark, but in comes Goggin once again. Goggin streaks goalwards, he kicks, he's put it through.
Towards the centre, Farmer on his own. Who goes for the hand pass, picked off that by Walker. Walker over here to Polinelli. Polinelli, a long left foot.
Right to the goal square, they set themselves wide.
He beat the two of them.
About 12 yards out, he's directly in front to the Richmond goal. He stuck it right through the centre.
So slammed on, it's good football.
Up they go, Farmer gets a tap down, or goes to Goggin.
Again, Farmer would be the maestro, but his ruck artistry, the skill of Billy Goggin and the goal nous of John Sharrock would not be enough. The Tigers by 9 points in one of the modern classics.
As always, reliable in the last line of defence. He tries one out to Farmer. Farmer's on the half-back flank. Look at that mighty hand pass over here to Costa. Costa now in towards centre half forward. Up they go! Ryan over to Eales. Eales a short one up here. Will it come off? Yes! Sharrock.
They're 8 points up at the moment. Geelong, there's the kick, and it's right through the middle. By Roy West now. Good long kick. In towards the centre. Roy's hard pushed aside. Walker gets away with it now. Races through the centre. Goes for the long one. There's a chance for Bill Ryan. He marks.
Well called, Butch.
Ryan 30 yards out, directly in front. Puts it on its way. I think it's offline. It's swinging around. It's there. He's favouring the outer flank by the look of it. Oh, good kick too. The players set themselves. Up they go. No mark. Taken by Farmer. Farmer a long hand pass out here. He's looking for Polinelli. Polinelli has it. Polinelli kicks down to the half-forward flank. On the inside, Sharrock steadies. He kicks.
Through the 60s, Geelong had produced magnificent football, groundbreaking stuff, but the end result was one premiership from 7 successive finals campaigns.
There's not much time left. He goes for a beautiful drop punt. It's right up the teeth of goal. I don't know who pulled it down. Somebody pulled it down. Who is it? It's Billy Ryan, I think. Billy Ryan's marked it. What a game. Oh.
I can remember the day as though it was yesterday. I think there was about 3 security people at the ground in those days, and they tried to keep 10,000 people off the ground as Bill lined up to try and seal the game or win the game for Geelong with the kick, which he had to do. I think he had to kick it to win the game.
I don't think he's heard it. This could give the game back to Geelong. He hasn't heard it. He's touched on the mark. The ball was touched on the mark. But Lance Perkins hasn't heard the siren. No. I don't know what's going on here. It's going to be a penalty kick. It's going to be a penalty kick. It's another kick, Jack.
The first one was a very ordinary kick. I think Bill had either taken the gas or was just a little nervous, suddenly realising that he had to kick this. And luckily he had a chance to get a second win because Lance Perkins, I think, who was the umpire, decided that Terry Waters had gone 1 1/4 inches over the mark and dragged him back the 10 metres or the 10 yards as it was in those days. And Bill, never wanting more than one second chance, kicked truly the second time.
Bill Ryan's coming in. He's kicked the goal! And Geelong have won! What a fantastic game! Heavens above, it's the most amazing game I've ever seen in my life.
I think we were more nervous than Bill was, because he had the ball and knew what he had to do, and we were sitting there thinking, standing there with coppers and horses and dogs, and he kicked the goal, and it was euphoria.
Pandemonium broke loose here at Kardinia Park. They've won by 1 point.
Named after a visiting entertainer, Carrillo, the Raja of Bong, Edward Kaji Greaves has his place in football history as the first winner of the Charles Brownlow Medal back in 1924. 3 times runner-up in the medal, Greaves played in Geelong's first and second premiership sides and was named in the centre in the Cats Team of the Century in 2001. Rare footage of one of the first televised football matches shows Bernie Smith late in his 183-game career. Twice a premiership player, the curly-haired Smith became the first back pocket to win the medal in 1951. Twice a best and fairest winner, Smith would take over from Fred Flanagan as captain in 1954. Wearing the number 4 Guernsey, made famous by Bobby Davis, it would be another dasher who took out Geelong's third Brownlow in 1962. Alistair Lord from Cobden dominated the season, averaging 30 kicks a game and polling 28 votes to win by 9 from Ken Fraser, Kevin Murray and Ron Branton. The next morning, he would face the microphone of Channel 7's Ron Casey.
Did you sleep last night? Well, I didn't, Ron. I was so thrilled about winning the Brownlow, and it always has been my ambition to win a thing like, a medal like the Brownlow, and it was just great, Ron.
It would be 27 years before another Cat saluted on Brownlow night. In 1989, Paul Couch, yet another centreman, would win the medal, this time defeating Hawthorn's John Platten by 2 votes. Couch had been rejected by Fitzroy, but over a career spanning 259 games, he won 3 best and fairest at Geelong. And despite a succession of knee problems, represented Victoria half a dozen times. In 2007, a Geelong midfielder was always favourite to win the medal. While Gary Ablett Jr. amassed many of the media awards, the umpires could not look past 23-year-old Jimmy Bartell. He polled 29 votes to win by 7 from Black of Brisbane, Harvey of North and Kerr of the Eagles.
James Bartell is Geelong Football Club.
In a season to savour, the man in the number 3 Guernsey gathered some 630 disposals during the 2007 season.
Rosa now came through, punched the ball away.
Oh, boy, he's met very solidly.
It's a left foot kicking, going over towards the centre half forward. Maher in from behind. One of those team misses. He's met solidly.
He's gone for a short pass. It's a lead. It was a lead by Wade, but the pass was ill-directed.
And the kick going in towards Michael Green, who takes the mark at centre half back. Whoops. Ducked up.
By Wearmouth. Wearmouth steadies. He's in a bit of trouble. Oh! A chance for Geelong to go forward. Pelfreyman has it. And he's met by Britt.
Tried to get a quick kick in, which is along the ground. McConnell there, he was met solidly, got one right on the side of the head. Then there is Turner also in town. The 2 nines clash.
Just about does a chip chop in the air.
Looking for Turner, punched away by Greg, who follows on. Oh, he's heavily met. Richmond players as the kick comes to motion. Now that is a heavy butt.
Dangerous one, but it's okay. Richardson in trouble, but balks 2 Geelong players. Gets away nicely. Another hand pass coming over. Richardson's down behind play.
Into the half-forward line. Beasley! Ridden into the ground. At the back. The hurried kick from Denham. Oh! Bang!
He's gone past the 50-metre line. Out comes Ablett. Oh, it took... yeah, that might have been a bit high, actually.
It's on behind play, and Brian Taylor is hot under the collar. Look out. Oh, no, BT, don't do it.
Tony Shaw over the top to Shane Maud. Bang! Down goes Shane Maud. and a free kick.
Dennis is going to go off the ground, I think.
Magnificent kick. That must be a ball to score.
Yates. Mark Yates for Geelong. Free kick in there, pushing the back. Geelong by 2 points. Burke wins in the middle again. Goes to Bruns. High tackle. And will take the free kick if he can get up.
And Melbourne have been sucked in here in the early minutes, Pete.
Actually, it suits us because I can see Geelong players taking their eye off the ball. Now, Flanagan, although he's not in that, did not have any eyes at all for the ball. He was going for Steins.
So back in the middle again, Geelong now leads by a point. And some heavy work going on in the middle.
Oh, McCarthy is bowled over unceremoniously.
He has been free kicked. Well, they're into it. I don't think I need to comment on this. You can see for yourself. Well taken by Phillips. Across to Harvey. Harvey steadies and puts the long kick down towards the square where Baker's there. Takes it right on the line.
Well, a little bit of a box on. Bewes decides to go in. That was pretty sensible.
3 rounds of shadow boxing, and Jeffries, wearing the 22 Guernsey for Geelong, is having his head ripped off.
On June the 22nd, 2001, the greats of the Geelong Football Club again gathered. They were there to honour the greatest side in 100 years. The Geelong team of the century would provoke argument and controversy, as the greatest players of the earliest part of the 20th century won places ahead of their modern-day counterparts. The captain and the coach would be the club's greatest icon, Reg Hickey. This was the team. In the back pocket, the AFL's team of the century back pocket, Bernie Smith. Alongside him, the 232-game veteran George Jocker Todd. And in the other back pocket, a megastar in the media and a 300-game veteran in John Newman. The half-back line caused eyebrows to be raised. On one flank, Dick Grigg, who played 194 games until his retirement in 1920. At centre half-back, Hickey, 245 games, a long-standing club record until beaten by Billy Goggin. And on the other flank, Joe Slater. He played just over 100 games and his last was in 1914. It was a brave choice. The wingmen were the Turners. On one side, Leo, a star in the 51 and 52 flags, and on the other, his son Michael, 245 games, all class. In the centre, the game's first Brownlow medalist, Kardinia Greaves, only 124 games, but a champion. Gary Abletts sent his apologies, but he was a unanimous choice on one forward flank. 242 games, 1,000 goals, a godlike figure. At centre half forward, troubles. Fred Flanagan, the dual premiership captain and a leader of men. And alongside him, out of his sickbed for the night to accept the honour, the Geelong flyer, Bobby Davis. Another veteran in the forward pocket in Henry Tracker Young, a giant in the game a century ago. Doug Wade was named full forward, one of the game's greatest spearheads. And alongside him in the forward pocket, Peter Pianto, a rover of skill and class. The first ruck was, of course, Polly Farmer, the great man back from the West. Only one modern-day player made the first 18, Buddha. Gary Hocking, the winner of 4 best and fairest, was the obvious ruck rover. And the first rover? The little genius Billy Goggin. But what a following division. Farmer, Hocking and Goggin. On the bench, David Clark. The Brownlow medalist Paul Couch. Alec Eason and Les Hardiman. And to top off the selectors' dream team, 4 emergencies. Geelong's games record holder Ian Nankervis, Jack Collins, Tommy Quinn and Cliff Rankin. A team for the century. A team of champions who've worn the blue and white with honour and whose deeds will carry us into the next 100 years.
Surely. Last roll of the dice for Geelong. The ball towards the boundary line. Pickering's over and out. 25 seconds left. We will get another boundary throw-in.
Abletts a man. He's got to take the jump here. Abletts got to jump, grab and have a snap. Watch him.
Like in the 89 grand final. Hocking had a big lead. Mick Martin gets it. But onto the chest of Colbert. There's 18 seconds left.
Colbert, what will he do? Started on the bench. We're down to 10 seconds. Colbert. And the mark is missed down there by Barnes. Right on the boundary line. Tudor.
I remember that kick by Lee Tudor in the forward pocket, and poor old Mick Martin was doing the right thing. He was between his player and the ball, and Lee Tudor's kick, I reckon it went nicely along, then went over his outstretched hand and landed in Gazza's chest, of course. He's marked the ball.
He will kick after the siren. Oh my goodness me.
There were 2 seconds on the clock when Ablett took them off.
There is no justice in football. That was the look on the face of Michael Martin.
The siren's gone. I still remember, I don't know why, but I ran up to Gary Ablett in the goal square and I said, "Now, Gary, don't play on, don't," because the siren had gone. I could just see Gazza wheeling around and kicking a goal from the boundary or something like that. So I don't know why, but I ran up and said, "Now, Gazza, don't play on, don't play on." He looked at me like I was an idiot. He just went back and slotted it.
Gary Ablett, 5 metres out. Any score will do. Geelong are in the grand final.
2 wins in a row where we kick goals after the siren. Unbelievable.
A succession of coaches from Graham Farmer, Rod Olsen, Billy Goggin, Tom Hafey and John Devine would all have stints of at least 3 years, but none could get past the hurdle of a preliminary final. In 1989, Geelong appointed Malcolm Blight, the Brownlow and Coleman medalist. Eccentric perhaps, visionary certainly, but in a football career spanning 2 decades, he had known success on an individual and team basis.
Today's announcement was made at Kardinia Park, where club president Ron Hovey told the gathered media he was delighted with Blight's acceptance of the position.
We are delighted to have Malcolm services. He has had a distinguished playing and coaching career and is highly respectable of his knowledge of the game and his ability to communicate.
I'm certainly not here, and the Geelong Football Club's certainly not going to waste their time. Why would the players waste their time if they didn't have that, just that inner drive to know that finals are what football's all about?
Cats forward, there was a holding decision.
In his first season, his priority was to get Ablett on side.
Well, the story I could probably tell is that he didn't turn up to training a couple of times, and I remember ringing him up and saying, "Look, we've got to sort this out." I think he was having some troubles off ground, so I met him in this little duck pond just outside of Geelong, and sort of walked across the bridge with him. I said, "Gary, I mean, there's 2 ways you can go. You either come with me, or I'll push you off." And so I'm ever thankful that he actually went home and got his footy gear, and he started training, and it was just terrific at Geelong.
Cardi goes back and now leads. No mark as the ball hits the deck. Here's Ablett on the left foot. Gary Ablett. Oh, miraculous goal.
There would be an early season test against Hawthorn, one of the matches of the 80s.
Bairstow ducks and weaves and kicks long. It's a high floater. Now Langford sets himself in front. Punches it away. In after. Kicked off the ground by Ablett. Goal!
He's playing on Dippia Domenico. Hasn't seen it yet. Ablett puts it out wide to Schultz. Up to Bairstow. Forward of centre wing. Stoneham in front. Spectacular start to this game. Stoneham's kick to the goal square. Exel's there. And it goes through for a goal, is it? Yes!
As we see the ball in half back, this is Darren Morgan. And he takes it away from the centre. A long kick. Gary Ayres. Oh, Yates nearly took it. Now it's Billy Brownless from 25 metres. He's put it through for a great goal. His man's had plenty. There's cleverly tapped away to Tuck. Oh, brilliantly intercepted by Denham. Denham to Scott. Scott centres it. That is brilliant play by Scott. Axel! Yes!
And it would be Hawthorn again in one of the hardest grand finals of all time.
Down by Burke. This is Buse. Second opportunity for Buse. Down towards the half-forward line. Abletts in front.
the wing and went straight for Dermot Brereton. Dermot's down on his knees, as you can see.
Gary Ablett will go very close from here, from about 52 metres. Long, probing kick, it's home.
Now this is reminiscent of the final Dermot Brereton down. I mentioned how Yates came through the centre, didn't have eyes for the ball, just went straight at Brereton and has put him down. A bad miss for Hawthorn because he's the one who can really get them going. Now watch this on replay. You see Yates, there he is, coming off the wing there. He only had eyes for Brereton, then goes over and bumps him again, but obviously he's done his ribs.
It was premeditated, was it? You and Malcolm Blight, you put your heads together and said, well, all right, let's fix Dermot up first bounce.
It was a plan. Yeah, that was it.
Well, tell us, how did you go through it? The week before a grand final, how did you actually plan out what you were going to do?
Well, it actually started probably in round, was it 6, didn't it?
6, yeah.
Princess Park, and I had a very sore testicle for about 4 or 5 weeks.
That was an accident, though. It's always going to be on. Of course, that's when a man like Brereton is most vulnerable. He's running with eyes on somebody else. He's suddenly open.
Dermot had been pretty good. You know, I mean, he's a great player, and he'd been sort of running through huddles and all sorts of things. So I just felt with Paul Couch winning the Brownlow that year that you know, that we didn't need to lose a player early, and Dermot had bowled over Yoda pretty well in a game earlier in the year. So there was some motivation there from Yatesy anyhow, and just said, look, all I said was, look, if he comes running at the centre bounce, just make sure you meet him and, you know, protect the blokes in the middle. And, you know, Dermot kept running, and Mark hit him, no elbows, no fists, no nothing. A little bit off the ball, it's probably a thing that we should probably take out of footy, I think, on hindsight. It's not one of the great memories in footy. I think that given the time again, I probably wouldn't have done it. Given Mark's time again, he probably wouldn't have done it. But knowing Dermot, he probably would have. So I'm not quite sure where that was all going to go to, accepting that what Dermot did do was stand up and kick 3 goals, and we got beat by a kick. So, you know, his contribution was significant. But if we had to play it again, I'm not quite sure where we would have got the players from. So Hawthorn deserved to win. I mean, they were good enough and they were a great team. But, you know, just at the club, I said, well, we've got beaten. Let's put our heads back in our sockets and we'll wear the loser's tag. But it was a very brave game of football, I thought.
It's half forward with the kick, intended for Ablett. Up he comes, he crashes into Nicky and Minico.
I think that first quarter, everyone seems to think we went to bash and crash, and we did a little bit, but not, I mean, I think both sides did a bit, but the thing that amazed me was Hawthorn's skill, the delivery of the ball. We just couldn't get the ball off them there for about 20 minutes, and they really hurt us on the scoreboard. And it was a gradual wearing down process that got us back into the game, and you know, Gary had a sensational first half that probably kept us in the game, really, and then, you know, he kicked another 4 in the second half, which was handy, but, you know, it was a high-scoring, free-flowing and pretty tough game.
Flanagan now doing the ruck work against Deer. Ablett over the top. Snapshot by Gary Ablett. This is close. Oh, it is mercurial stuff. And we're close to the end of the game, and only 3 goals separates the two sides. Tuck. Bairstow over the top, Bruns, bounce favours Bruns, Bruns goes for goal, Brownless at the back, Ablett! This could be the record number of goals kicked in a grand final, at the moment held by Dermot Brereton. Gary Ablett has kicked 8, a chance to kick his 9th.
That mistake coming from his brother-in-law, Michael Tuck, on the outer flank, the back flank for Hawthorn.
Here goes Ablett for goal number 9, and he's threaded it up towards the 50-metre line. The Geelong defence punch it away. Hockey transfers play to the opposite side of the ground. Dippy Domenico can't mark. Linder a little late on the scene. Hamilton gathers, kicks it to Scott. This could be another Geelong goal. There'll be only one kick in it if Scott can get the ball. He gathers well and kicks it to Cameron, who's marked 40 metres from goal. He'll have to kick it quickly because there's under a minute left. Cameron, move it. Panic stations.
Taking too long.
David Cameron has kicked 1. David Cameron has kicked 2.
That'll stop the clock. we're down to 15 seconds now as play restarts. Geelong must get it immediately. One down by Flanagan, taken by Abuse, upended by Deputy Domenico. They lock it up again. It looks like it's all over. The dream of back-to-back pennants is all but there as far as the Hawks are concerned. There's the siren.
9 goals from Ablett, the Norm Smith medalist, would not be enough to get Geelong over the line. The Cats boasted the most potent forward line in football. Blight's decision to move Ablett to full forward was a masterstroke, and the star kicked 100 goals 3 years in a row.
It was a whole new role for me, from going from a half-forward line to full forward. Malcolm was tremendously helpful along the way, gave me some tips because he'd played at full forward at some stage in his career, so that was a great help. But other than that, I really just had to learn myself, really.
And with Billy Brownless or Barry Stoneham at centre-half forward, they were a team to be feared.
From a standing start. What did he do this time? Kick a goal. Number 8.
Blight would lift his men into 2 more grand finals, in 92 and 94. And both times they would face the Eagles of Mick Malthouse. After the 80-point loss in 1994, Blight would stand down. Into his place stepped Gary Ayres, and in his first season, the dual Norm Smith medalist would take the Cats into the grand final against Carlton, a team that had lost only 2 games for the season. It would be another disastrous day, a 10-goal loss, and for many, their 4th grand final defeat in 7 years.
Scenes more becoming of winners as thousands of Geelong fans welcomed home their devastated side at the Town Hall last night.
We've just beaten by a better side on the day. So once again, thanks for your support.
At the moment, I just feel I don't play footy at all. It's only early days, I suppose. You just start talking silly because you've got to try and think of excuses.
The people, I suppose, deserve a lot more than what we could give them today. And, we'd like to sort of show appreciation and win a premiership for them.
It's just like a death in the family, just you feel for each of the players, your wives and all that, and also the supporters who have been fantastic.
Geelong still had a good lead-up and good preparation into the finals, but something lacked on the day, on grand final day. So I think the town dealt with it pretty well. There was times when you didn't want to go into the streets in case, people were going to run you over because you lost a grand final. And the thing as a player, as what you develop is there's so much happens outside of you just playing a grand final. There's people who are coming together and having barbecues, and they set up a great big day, the Geelong people, and if they can't get to the grand final, they're having days at home and they make such a big deal of it, and you sort of let those people down. They come away from the day and, bloody Hocking or Ablett or this sort of thing, and they might sort of, be saying bad things about you, but, obviously people would, have a bet on the footy, they're losing good money, it's targeted back to you because you lost the grand final, that sort of thing. So I started to learn as a player just to sort of individually just keep away a little bit, to stay at home, be a bit sheltered and reclusive after the grand finals. But once footy started again, there's no doubt, hey, I've still got the hurt in the belly, the fire there to play and to get back there again. Something just lacked on the day, and I guess I've spoken to Malcolm about it. I've had general conversations with other players and Gary Ayres, who coached 95. It's just something hasn't come out, or something hasn't raised its head to say, well, this is what happened on the day.
It would be 12 years before the Cats returned to the MCG on grand final day. Under coach Mark Thompson, this was a side for the ages. A team that had taken all before it in 2007. Packed with all Australians, the Brownlow Medallists and champions on every line, Geelong was simply magnificent.
Shannon Burns takes the mark. Good running from Chapman. Pounding down again, Nathan Ablett bolts to the goal square. And that's the target, Mooney as well. It's all set up for Camp, he can let it go, he takes it! So it will be Cameron Mooney, you would presume, who will kick the opening goal of the grand final. And that is a great result as far as Geelong are concerned.
Well, they certainly played on quick. They got the ball in there, put the defence under pressure.
First blood to the Cats. free kick against Kelly. Then it could have been one against Burgoyne. Play on. Chapman, hasn't he been prominent so far? Mooney won out with Wakeland. Geelong will like that. Mooney takes the mark and he laid off. Selwood on the ground. Normally has an impact. Mooney likes his chances. No, he disguised it beautifully. And Steve Johnson, another one who the Cats will be hoping gets up today. It's his 7th touch too.
Oh, and again there's a turnover. And Abletts, the little genius, drives it home.
They're their stars, and they're all firing for Port, so that's the good news. The bad news is the Cats are running on top of the ground as well. Hunt for Ottens. Can't take it. Chapman has to make amends for before, and Steve Johnson can take it and make sure of it.
Corey. No escape there, but was able to get it to Vichinsky. Ablett now, well done by Geelong. Kelly, Selwood, sold it beautifully and sets up Bartell. Not a big goal kicker, but he's got one to go with that Brownlow. Geelong hold up.
And with the defensive answers at the moment, Rook, as they cut through the middle of the ground. Corey Enright out for Little Stokes. Quick to give it off. Steve Johnson for his 3rd.
He's a star. Ling, oh, he was almost dead there. He's done well. Rook's a chance. From inside 50, Slapsy Maxi.
Ablett to his feet quickly. Here they come. More destruction out of the middle. Selwood, Nathan Ablett for 2 in a minute. He's in his father's spot there. Wolsey, that's where he took the mark of the century, of course. He kicked a point after that. I wonder what his son will do. He won't make the same mistake. It's beyond 50 now.
Ablett getting rid of Surgeon, and Burns helping with a shepherd. Surgeon comes back. Ablett disposed legitimately. Mooney, like a bull out of a paddock, to Kelly. Cleverly off the instep. That was glorious. And Chapman can run in and finish the job.
Milbourne hoping for Corey Harley. Oh, Chapman! Paul Chapman!
He set himself. You could see he wanted to go for it.
Uninhibited through the middle of the MCG. Stokes, remarkable recovery early. And again, he's got a plethora of options. Goes for Ottens. And here's Steve Johnson again.
So unselfish.
Yeah, it is now. Nathan Ablett over the top, and it's Burns to finish it.
Just see him there. He's just having a massive influence on this game.
Nathan Ablett able to crash the pack. Corey out for Chapman. He's had a great day. They all have. Mark another one down for the Cats.
Milburn, Mackie, just controlling this game with contemptuous ease. And the Brownlow medalist, what a week he's had. He goes for a run, and what exquisite weight on the kick to Selwood, who gives it to Mooney. He's been demanding of his teammates in this quarter. Chance to kick another one and extend the lead to 90 points. Chapman lines them up. He has 3 goals. He doesn't get a 4th here, but he might have set one up because Ling pops it through and the lead is in 3 figures.
Trying to scrounge it, but again, just totally overwhelmed by the numbers. Mackie, Scarlett, surging forward again. He won't be able to kick a goal from there. They've got a couple down there who can. All the way with Stevie J.
Been very modest too. They've had the game won since 1 minute into the 3rd quarter.
His 5th contested mark of the day, Brad Ottens. And there it is. It's the Cats. They've come so close so many times in the last 44 years, but the torture is finally over.
Well, now, the moment you've been waiting for. We have much pleasure in inviting the captain of the 1963 Geelong Premiership team, Fred Wooler, to present the Premiership Cup to Captain Tom Harley and Coach Mark Thompson.